general data protection regulation will come into force in May 2018, and from that point it will apply to all member states of the EEA. Now, as a regulation, not a directive, it will automatically apply. It doesn't require national law. So for that reason, it will apply in the UK from May 2018, and they don't have a choice around that. The regulation applies to all personal data and the processing of data and how that's managed and manipulated and controlled and stored. It applies to data of European residents, regardless of where that data is processed. So in the event that you have an IT system in the UK, or you have some support team in the UK, or you have a client service team in the UK, all of that is considered processing. Once the data protection regulation comes into force, there is the concept of third-party countries. The UK will become a third-party country once it leaves the EU. And there is very specific obligations which will apply to whether or not we consider these countries adequate, whether or not we can share data with these countries. And so in the UK's instance, given they'll have been part of the EU for a very long time, given that they will have applied GDPR from May 18, you could assume that the EU will decide it's an adequate jurisdiction. That's a specific term, an adequate jurisdiction. However, movement of data in the same way as movement of people, trade, services may be subject to some sort of political nuances and negotiation. And the EU have had issues with the UK's implementation of data protection law for many years now. We previously had a standard directive, but local legislation wasn't harmonised, and so there are some challenges that the EU could say the UK have. For that reason, it is quite possible that this could become political, and if it became political, you could see a logic for the EU saying, well, we won't apply an adequate decision onto the UK. Were that to happen, you would still be able to do data transfers, but there would be extra cost, administration, hassle, possibly even the need to ask for permission of users as to whether or not you can transfer their data. So right now, what can you do? Well, right now everybody is trying to get themselves compliant with GDPR. The reality is it's still a year away. Most of the organisations we're dealing with are in the process of becoming compliant right now. What you should bear in mind is where you do share data with the UK, where you do rely on the UK to process your data for you, you'll have a data inventory as part of your GDPR compliance programme, and within that you'll note that the UK is relevant to you in certain instances. The challenge then will be if you need to do something in the future. Right now you don't, and in May 18 you won't. I think there are much bigger questions which will apply, and GDPR could be bundled up into those with regard to the free movement of people, trade, services and data, and the linkage of those together.